All right, so today we're going to talk about meditation, breath work, recovery, however you want to paint it. Working with people for a very long time, and they have a hard time understanding the difference between sympathetic and parasympathetic breathing. When you're working out and you're breathing and you're high exertion, I know after doing rounds, hands on the thighs, shoulders going up and down, that's what we call sympathetic breathing or fight or flight breathing. And we can do that. You can exercise. You want to challenge yourself depending on what your goals are. The level of intensity varies per person, but you don't want to live with that breathing pattern. And a lot of times clients are coming in and they still have that elevated shoulder breathing pattern, and they've just been sitting at a desk for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. And they come in and work out and I go, whoa, wait a second. We got to calm you down before we exercise again. And so one of the things I like to train or help people with is shifting from this sympathetic to a parasympathetic, which is a very normal, relaxed breathing pattern. The easiest way to describe that is looking at an infant while they're sleeping. Their belly and their diaphragm is, their belly's moving up and down. They're breathing through their diaphragm. They're very relaxed breathing. Why is that critical? If you're in a fight or flight breathing pattern, the shoulder breathing one, even on a micro level, your body is not really set to recover. Again, if you're running from a bear, that fight or flight, you're not going to be repairing muscle tissue. You're not going to be digesting food correctly. So we want, as quickly as possible after a workout or a training program, to be able to shift to from that sympathetic to that parasympathetic breathing pattern. Now, when I'm training clients, I tend to do that very organically by what I'm creating in program design. But as I meet friends or acquaintances that are struggling and trying to take their recovery to another level, this becomes more critical for them to have an understanding of what that means. And so there are a few ways you can do that. But remember, the critical component is like, look, you want to be the best you can, start taking your recovery more seriously. Does that mean I have to have you sit with your legs crossed on a mountaintop and oming? No, not necessarily. It depends on the individual. For some of those people, it works. I meditate with my family most nights. When we're all together, we do that, and it does wonders for my recovery. Makes me a better dad, helps me when I train jiu-jitsu. So here are 3 different ways that you can kind of traditionally meditate or work on your breathing. After your workout, you can sit in a quiet corner, legs crossed. You can put in some relaxed music, give yourself about 5 minutes and just work on your breathing patterns and establishing a nice diaphragmatic breathing, working on that breathing. You don't have to worry about what thoughts enter your mind. Simple, simple, simple. You can take that. One of my favorite things is to download some binaural beats on my Spotify account and work the meditation app. I usually come in the gym, I can close the door, darken the room, and that helps wonderfully. My second variation of that would be at the end of a workout, if I find I want to really trigger a down regulation in the breathing program, especially if I've challenged someone significantly, I tend to lay them on their backs. Now, usually I do a post-workout cool down, and I'm working some stretching with them, so they're naturally laying down. But I will usually cue them, hey, take the next minute to work on your breath and just relax, take some deep breaths, breathe through your abdomen. Another little biohack is I like to take a pillow or a yoga block. Once they're laying in that position, shavasana or corpse pose, right, which is just like laying down on your back, guys. Take a pillow or a yoga block and elevate the hips on that, so we're just bringing blood flow back to the heart, and we're getting some blood flow back to the adrenal glands, and they get happy. And then after they've established a very normalized, healthy parasympathetic breathing, I take them off the block, work some mobility work. I usually try to lighten the conversation. Hey, what are your plans for the weekend? And then I see some magic happening, start to calm down. I know when I send them home, their body's in a place where they can start preparing their meal, their hunger's naturally coming in, and they're ready to eat. So I have a lot of individuals that'll come from a training program and like, oh, well, I need to grab a bite to eat. And they're always complaining about their stomach hurting. And this is one of those critical components. Why that's happening is because your body's not ready for the food. Your schedule is ready, and I get that, but we need to prepare our body for that. How do we do that? Obviously preparing meals, cooking it, chopping it, smelling it, but also if your breathing pattern hasn't changed from your workout. So my third, and one of my favorites to do, especially when I go train in the morning, is we always joke around after we bow out, we sit on the wall and we shoot the shit. And part of the reason that's critical for me is it's a moment to cool down, stop sweating, catch up with friends and training partners, stretch a little bit, but it's also I'm taking note of where my breathing is. Generally, you're finishing with training, pretty intense training. I go as hard as I can every single time. So if usually I'm pretty wiped out, I want to get back into that parasympathetic breathing pattern and be ready to absorb nutrients, whether it's your supplements. I usually take my creatine, my BCAAs, and then about an hour later, I'm consuming a protein-rich and carbohydrate-rich shake. And so those are 3 ways that you can help hack your breathing patterns for improved recovery. All right, try one of them. Let me know if it works.